Over the past couple of weeks, we have learned that J.J Redick has been a favorite for the Lakers to land that head coaching job. And according to Shams Charania, it looks like the Lakers are zeroing in on hiring J.J Redick as their next head coach. And so much so that even names for assistant coach have started to surface. And this is starting to look like a real possibility for the Lakers. What's good, y'all? And welcome to another Lakers Digest video. I'm your host, Okechi Apakama, and before we get into all that excitableness that we have for you for today's video, guys, I want to bring your attention to something. There is 85% of you guys who have recently watched your videos who are not subscribed to the channel just yet. And if you guys want more of that Laker news, Laker reactions, trade rumors, just every and all things LA Lakers this offseason, you guys want to come right here to Lakers Digest so you guys do not miss any of those updates. Now, with that out the way, guys, let's hop straight into the topics that we have for you today, as the Lakers are zeroing in on J.J Redick. So, according to Shams Charania that he said earlier today on his show, Run It Back, it looks like the Lakers are zeroing in on J.J Redick to be their next head coach, not only for the short term, but as the long term as well, probably 4, 5, 6 years down the line. And this is a very interesting and new development for the Los Angeles Lakers, as they have just gone through so much turnover ever since Phil Jackson was the head coach. Just different coaches, different ages, different spans of basketball knowledge. And so it's finally good to see the Lakers trying to set for the long-term future and not just the short-term future. So this is what J.J Redick represents. They think he's a guy that can grow with the Los Angeles Lakers and not only build a system for their team, but just build something beyond LeBron James and possibly an Anthony Davis-led Lakers team. And J.J Redick was also on Golick and Mike earlier on the radio show, and he was asked about the Lakers head coaching job. And then he said something a little bit along lines like this. He said, "My focus is on the NBA Finals. In terms of Shams, that will be addressed once the season is over. I'll just say that." And J.J Redick was being very coy in that interview there, but it kind of seems like he knows something a little bit more than we do, and it looks like there's going to be possibly a big announcement after the NBA Finals, as J.J Redick is going to obviously be part of that NBA Finals team with Mike Breen and Doris Burke, and he'll be calling the games for the Celtics and the Mavericks series. But as far as the Lakers are concerned, bringing in J.J Redick to be their next guy is, I think, a very interesting decision, but also a very smart one, just in the terms of, like, if you think he's going to be the guy to lead your team for the next couple of seasons, that is who you have to put that trust in and allow him to grow and really learn on the job, and also be able to make mistakes and do things that other coaches in other markets are kind of able to do. As some of these coaches, like, I think of guys like what's going on with the Orlando Magic and Jamal Mosley and how they're able to grow with that young team. And just different things like that. So if you're allowed to grow and build up your team the way you want to and the way that they are capable of, then I think this decision can really thrive and help the Los Angeles Lakers. But as far as more coaching adamant and just more people who are vouching for a guy like J.J Redick, so a guy on his team, Mike Breen, everybody's favorite guy who say bang after every big shot in a playoff situation, Mike Breen had this to say about J.J Redick, and then he said, I have a coaching tree of my own now, and he was alluding to how Doc Rivers was got a coaching gig earlier in the season, and he said, you'll never know till a guy is in that position, but I think he has all the characteristics to be a good head coach. And that is a very huge thing to come from a guy like Mike Breen, who has been around the NBA for years, and he's been calling Knicks games for years. So he knows what a good coach or two looks like, as he's been a guy who's been around NBA circles, always talked to head coaches, talked to players. He's been a guy that has his finger on the pulse and knows what it takes to be a good NBA coach, as he's been calling games for the NBA for what seems like forever now. So that's just another name to add to the list of guys who have vouched for a guy like J.J Redick. And it's not really the concern of how his basketball acumen and how those different things really stack up, because I really do think he does have that high basketball IQ. He has the gravitas to lead, as he's been a very good teammate on all the teams that he has been on. And then he's also been a guy who can be little bit bring guys together, a little bit of kumbaya, more camaraderie. So he's been another guy, a galvanizer, as you would, to bring some of these guys together. So I'm not more worried about that. The stuff about JJ Redick is all that first time stuff that you find on the job as being a first time head coach, because he hasn't coached at the highest level at all. He's only coached his young sons, who I think are about 9 or 10 years old. So this is a very massive jump. These are grown men with huge egos. So you have to be able to balance all of those things, not only just the basketball side of things, but the media side of things and how you say things, especially in the Los Angeles Lakers, where everything is under a microscope. And you have to be on your P's and Q's, not only on the court, but off the court as well, when it comes to leading the Los Angeles Lakers into that next frontier. But I also talked about possible assistant coaches. So that's kind of been the talk now. So like, who could join him on his staff? And that is J.J Redick. So their names already starting to surface. Who could possibly join J.J Redick along on his staff? That's how far along we are in this J.J Redick talk. And names have come up here as so there's names like James Borrego, who the Lakers truly actually really like, as he has come in for multiple interviews for the head coaching gig. So he is still a possibility to be the Lakers head coach, but if not, they would love him to be the lead assistant. And then guys like Sam Cassell, Scott Brooks was also talked about, Rajon Rondo, who I know a lot of people have been vouching for, and then Jared Dudley, who is a player favorite among a ton of players around the league. So that is a very stacked list of names there. There's 2 ex-head coaches there in the NBA, not to go along with one of the smartest point guards of our generation, Rajon Rondo, and then one of the best team chemistry guys I think I've ever seen in my lifetime. That's Jared Dudley, and it'll be hard to pry him away from a team like the Dallas Mavericks, especially with all their recent success. But names like Rajon Rondo really excite me, because he's been a guy that a lot of people have thought would go into coaching once he retired, but he kind of, I think, took some time to himself. He was out there hanging with his kids, as a lot of players do once they retire, because they are able to finally do things with their kids. But putting a guy like Rajon Rondo on the staff with J.J Redick, with guys like James Borrego, even a guy like Scotty Brooks, like I said, who has been a past head coach. These are a lot of smart minds and a lot of sound basketball opinions that you can carry into a basketball room, and not only including guys like LeBron James, Anthony Davis, who you already have on your team. So with that type of foundation there, the Lakers have a chance to have one of the smartest basketball coaches just out there in the league, with all these guys that they're discussing who could be possibly brought in. But I do think it's very interesting that they have 2 former head coaches as possible assistants for that role. I see why James Borrego has been a name that's been talked about a lot, because Anthony Davis is a guy who has been a fan of him in the past. I believe he was an assistant coach at the time when he was on the New Orleans Pelicans. So he built a rapport with a guy like James Borrego there. So if you want to just put it in simple terms, so a guy like J.J Redick, he is more of like LeBron's guy, and kind of like what the Lakers are viewing, but James Borrego is a little bit more of an Anthony Davis guy, obviously having that past relationship that they had before, and then being a guy who has had some success as a head coach. While it didn't lead to too many wins as he was a coach of the Charlotte Hornets, though, he did lead their offense to, I believe, it was a top 10 NBA offense for a while LaMelo Ball was healthy. And then Scott Brooks, who also had all that success way back when with the Oklahoma City Thunder. And then he's also been a guy that's been bounced around a couple of coaching spots around the league. So he's been a guy who's been around a little bit and knows a thing or two. But all these names are really, I think, superstar choices for your assistant coaches to go along with J.J Redick, which kind of eases my mind a little bit, not knowing or not seeing that J.J Redick is the only guy out there kind of like making these decisions. He has all these other smart, high-level basketball IQ guys all right next to him on his coaching staff. And then obviously you have to include LeBron James and Anthony Davis, because those are 2 guys who have been through it and done through it so many times before. But what do you guys think in the comments down below? Do you think the Lakers are making the right choice bringing in J.J Redick? And what do you think about these possible assistant coaches, guys like James Borrego, like I said, former head coach, along with Scotty Bricks as well, and then Rajon Rondo, and then Jared Dudley as well? What do you think about these guys if they're part of their staff to the Los Angeles Lakers? And do you think the Lakers should add another name, maybe like a Phil Handy or something like that, that he throw his hat into the ring for the Lakers assistant coaches, because he's been the Lakers assistant coach for the past couple of seasons? So let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. I have been your host, Okechi Apakama, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.